has reaffirmed the nomination of Asue Ighodalo as governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Edo State. In a unanimous judgment delivered by Justice Musali JCA earlier today, the Court of Appeal held that the delegates who sought to nullify the PDP primaries lack locus, and therefore the trial court has no jurisdiction to nullify the PDP primary. The appellate court further stated that under Section 84, subsection 14 of the Electoral Act, it is only aspirants that can challenge a primary election. Ad hoc delegates are not aspirants and therefore do not have the locus to sue, as the matter is an internal affairs of the People's Democratic Party. Consequently, the appellate court upheld the primary election of the PDP in Edo State held on the 22nd of February, which produced Asue Ighodalo as governorship candidate of the PDP in the forthcoming governorship election in Edo State. Now, it is less than 1 month to the governorship election in Edo State. How are political parties jostling to take over Osadebe House after Governor Obaseki of the PDP? Deputy Director General of the PDP Campaign Council, Pedro Obaseki, joins me on the program. Mr. Obaseki, it seems the course is clear now for Asue Ighodalo, but legally there's still one more step if the other party chooses to appeal the judgment. How optimistic are you about the chances of your candidate?
If the coast is so clear, you know, even a blind man can see. Unfortunately, you cannot tell about, there is no science here, there is no art here to tell the mind's construction of the faith. So I don't know whether they will go to the Supreme Court. But it's just going to be an exercise in futility. You have said it, and the court has reaffirmed it. Prior to now, we keep telling them it's a waste of time because other delegates cannot question the outcome of the delegate Congress. And that is clearly stated in Section 84, subsection 14 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. So we are coasting home to victory. The only problem we have, which is actually a reorientation of those in the APC so that they can at least try as much as possible to reduce the level of their almost institutionalized propaganda to acceptable and minimal levels. Outside of that, they are not campaigning in Benin, they are not campaigning in Edo, they are almost absent, apart from once upon a rent-a-crowd situation. Obviously, Asue is the next governor of Edo State, by the grace of the Almighty God and the good people of our state, who will not be cowed by any perceived intimidation, low-level perceptions of high-handed propaganda. No. Now, Asue will be the next governor of Edo State.
Mr. Obaseki, in the past few days, we've seen the APC campaign team go to different senatorial districts, different local government areas. Earlier today, they were in Oredo campaigning.
Yeah.
Do you call that something different from a campaign?
No. What I'm saying is, listen, you see, we are just exactly 3 weeks and 5 days to the election. And they are just like kids that missed the bus. What they are doing now, we've been doing systemically since March, when Asue Ighodalo was chosen as the PDP candidate. Now, what they are doing are rallies from place to place. That is understandable. Everybody will do that. But who owns the pulse, as in the PULSE of the people? Who is on ground? Who with the keke nape person, Okada rider? Who does he see? Who is in Benin? Who is where 48% of the entire voting public lie? And about five local government areas out of the 18. Who rules the street? Who is on ground? Who has the voting confidence of the upwardly mobile as well as the emergent middle class in the state? Who has a story to tell? Who has a story to sell? who has an electable candidate and a perpetually unelectable candidate. The difference is clear. So
Obaseki,
between Asue Ighodalo and the APC candidacy of Okpebholo, the difference is like day and the very darkest part of the night. It's clear. I did Bini, I know de Lagos.
you've raised a critical issue about who is on ground. And the big concern now is really Ighodalo is not known to have campaigned for an election or to have participated in an election and won that election. And as a matter of fact, people that are not in support of his candidacy say that Edo cannot risk having someone who is not homegrown. It's known that your candidate grew up.
Madam, wait, madam.
Allow me land, please. It's known that your candidate grew up and lives in Lagos. How do you hope to sell his candidacy?
I will first of all start by debunking the Jabberwockery, the propaganda again. Please go on your Google and search if you will see anything about Monday Okpebholo in Edo State. His antecedents are clear.
He's a senator, isn't he?
Wait, no, let me finish, madam.
Isn't he a senator?
Now, wait, let me finish. You say I should let you land. Now you don't want me to even take off. Okpebholo, prior to his election just a year and 5 months ago, in May, swearing in May 2023, all his businesses and dwelling is in Jos Plateau State. Go check. Until Mr. Adams Oshiomhole came to Edo to run for governorship. All his life was living in Kaduna, from his secondary school to his textile mill assistantship and apprenticeship to NLC. That is it. In my state, we don't believe that you should excuse people or take them away from the participation in the for example, until now, I've always lived in Lagos. I was executive consultant to Fashola. I still have my places in Lagos. I still have my businesses in Lagos. But I am an Edo man. Being Edo is an integral part of our DNA, and that cannot be taken away. If I want to quote Adams Oshiomhole at the last Alawudaro summit, he said that for his 8 years in office, one of those who helped him pilot the economic matrix of the state was Asue Ighodalo. Google it. I could send you the video. So we cannot, because of vile political speak, begin to want to re-engineer the paradigm. Asue Ighodalo, whose father owns Global Hotel on the same street as my father's house in Benin, whose father is there in Econorwe, is as Benin, as Edo, as Esan, as Onwa, as Esako, as any Edo man living or dead. We are the prime people who move the Nigeria diaspora. Listen, so does that exclude our sons and daughters who are the biggest FDI investors in our state because they live in the UK? That we don't do that. We are not that kind of people. We are a very homogeneous people who understand that wherever we are, anywhere we step, our Edo DNA, our Edo-ness is first before everything. I will speak Benin. Every Benin man knows that. When the Benin man enters your house in Lagos, we are kings. When you enter our house, we are kings. That is how we are architected. So if anybody comes because of his low-level banter to want to use that as a leverage, it will fall like a pack of cards. We are a different, upwardly mobile, regal people, and the low-level Mephistophelian postulations of the APC candidacy cannot change that. That is why we are Edo. That is how it is. So anybody, when you say he's not on ground, he is very on ground. He's been here. We know him. So when they cannot campaign against the workings of the sitting governor who has refused to share our collective commonwealth among a little party of APC leaders, we are not scared of that. Asue Ighodalo, please. As a journalist, I'm a journalist. I mean, I used to run a radio service.
Yes, Mr. Obaseki, land on that thought because we need to take a break now.
Let them come to Benin and we'll know who is on ground.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, that conversation continues. It counts down to the Edo State governorship election 2024.
There is always more to a story than the screaming headline. The part of a story that is not told casts a shadow. It's like the part of an object that is not reached by light. On TVC News, I'm able to explore the many angles there are to a story, talking to stakeholders, asking the difficult questions and digging for facts. I believe the viewers are able to make a better decision if they're well informed and understand not just a part, but the complete story. TVC News, first with breaking news.
Welcome back to the program. We are looking ahead of the Edo State governorship election, and my guest is the Deputy Director General of the PDP Campaign Council, Pedro Obaseki. Before the break, Mr. Obaseki, you were talking about who is on ground, and you were talking about the fact that Asue Ighodalo is on ground. But don't you think that could just be an academic theory? Because as it is now, Monday Okpebholo, who is a candidate of the APC, is known to have contested, and not just that, but won an election. And of course, that speaks to his electability, and so Edo people should trust him.
I don't know where you get this, all this thing. So, how many, I want to ask, sorry, don't be offended, how many governors of Edo State, how many governors of Edo State prior to this contest have won elections in Edo State before now? The man who is selling his candidacy, Mr. Adams Oshiomhole, had never, ever lived in Edo State, never, ever contested a ward election in Edo State, a councillorship election in Edo State, prior to his becoming the executive governor of Edo State via a court ruling on November 12, 2008. Now, the next one, Godwin Noregase Obaseki, the current governor of Edo State, never contested as a local government chairman, councillor, senator, before becoming the governor of Edo State. So, which means, by sheer inference of happenstance and by sheer inference to profiling, the next governor of Edo State is most likely, since the last two governors of Edo State had never contested and won any election in Edo State, those who are fresh with ideas, like we thought Oshiomhole had, like we do believe Godwin Noregase Obaseki had or still has, and I will so believe that Mr. Barrister Asue Ighodalo has, will be the next governor of Edo State.
Mr. Obaseki, you would agree?
No, madam, sorry. I'm using your own methodology now.
You have 30 seconds.
In my state, your methodology you mentioned does not suffice. It is the methodology I've used now that suffices.
Well, you will agree, Mr. Obaseki.
Governors of Edo State have never contested, prior to becoming governor, any election in Edo State.
You will agree that different political dispensations, come with different dimensions. Back then, you're talking about Adams Oshiomhole. He practically contested with people who were just like him. But now we have a man who is on ground, who is running the grassroots politics in Edo State, and who is actually known, and who Edo people have confirmed to be a grassroots man. Mr. Obaseki, you would allow me land on my thoughts, and then you will come in, please.
Okay, thanks, love. Okay, go ahead. Fire down.
All right, so you have a man who is known to be a grassroots man, who has contested, who has won an election, who has been going around canvassing for votes from the people of Edo State. And you have made reference to Adams Oshiomhole, for instance. Remember, as we speak, that both Philip Shaibu and Adams Oshiomhole are a critical part now of the APC. These are the two people that arguably worked to ensure the victory for Godwin Obaseki back then. Now they are squaring up against Godwin Obaseki and your party's candidate. How do you hope to defeat them?
I think I will be very slow so as not to jump on the bandwagon of unverifiable misinformation. Number one, I will be very slow so I don't take it out of context. The last election in Edo State was between Godwin Obaseki and the sponsored candidate of Adams Oshiomhole. and the distance between both in that election, which was a watershed moment for our state. We titled it "Edo No Be Lagos." The candidate sponsored by Mr. Adams Oshiomhole was roundly defeated by a margin of more than 84,000 votes. Fact. Number two, when you say grassroots, I'm wondering where this is coming from. Who is grassrooted? You said the Adams supported Godwin, and now Adams and Shaibu has no political vertebrae in Edo State. In the last election where Mr. Shaibu was the deputy governor, was the deputy governorship candidate, please check the results. He is from Isako West Senatorial, the Isako West local government area in Edo North Senatorial District. That election, he lost his ward. He lost his local government. In short, his local government was the worst local government that we lost in that election, with 9,975 votes, just 25 votes short of 10,000. And we lost the entire Edo North with almost 22,000 votes, of which almost 50% was from that of Mr. Philip Shaibu. So he has he is of no political relevance. So if a man, as a sitting deputy governor, could not win his unit, his ward, and his local government, please don't believe the hype. That is the truth. Then, in terms of electability, you are talking about Mr. Okpebholo, who today, even you as TVC, have never had the opportunity to even talk to him. He has not spoken to our people. You don't speak to people except through a mass medium, which is primary. That is why you have me here. And by the grace of God, in 2 days' time, you have the candidacy of the candidate of our party here speaking to you. By the time you have a candidate who is perpetually unelectable, who does not understand that animals don't live in a museum, but in a zoo, who cannot string together a straight line sentence without, I don't want to go there. A man who we all, Edo people, will be Edo, will not be any other Kurukere people. We all know today that we have 5 or 6 dates of birth for this man, where he submitted to INEC that he was born on the 29th of August, 1970, and on his WAEC certificate, it is 29th of August, 1972, where 29th of August 1970 is a Saturday and 29th of August 1972 is a Thursday. In my state, we don't call a child Monday if he was born on a Saturday. Then we now found out that even his INEC voters card, he registered on the 1st of August 1977 as his date of birth, while his classmates say he was actually born, which is actually a Monday, on the 29th of August 1966.
All right, Mr. Obaseki, I would appreciate, Mr. Obaseki, really, that you stick with your candidate. I believe your purpose here is to sell the candidacy of Aswe Ighodalo. But then, more generally, it's about 26
You never mentioned my candidate.
Days.
You mentioned...
I mentioned him, Mr. Obaseki, and we really do need to move on now. Let's talk about the preparedness ahead.
No. We have to get this properly, madam. Please,
it's on, Mr. Obaseki, and we really do need to talk about preparation. We have less than 5 minutes to the end of the show. INEC, police are all involved in this forthcoming election. What would you say about the level of preparedness from what you, as a party man, can see?
The confidence on INEC or in INEC prior to now, taking into consideration the last elections, as in the 2023 elections, which is the last round of elections, is to all intents and purposes below expectation. But in Edo, we will be as vigilant as humanly permissible. But currently, we cannot talk about the materials, which are crucial to the election because they are not supposed to be in the public domain for now. So we hope that INEC will follow the rule book as they did in the 2020 election, which was applauded. And we believe that in spite of the seeming misgivings in 2023, INEC will be able to stay above board in the 2024 general elections in Edo State. Why trying not to sound belligerent? The reasons I was saying what I said was simply because the interviewer had asked me questions that I'm a journalist, that we are leading, mentioning Okpebholo again, and creating an online case for a man who should be answering questions You were the one presenting his case. So I have to debunk that before anything else. So I did not do anything that is out of cosmic balance in this interview, because I did not state the APC case. You did. I did not state the questions that you did. You did. I did not mention Adam Oshiomhole. You did.
Mr. Obaseki.
I did not mention Modu Pewolo. You did. So for me to sit back here and not reply based on that circle of what I may term misinformatory, because I am in Benin, you are not.
I got your reply, Mr. Obaseki.
I will be playing on due roulette with myself.
All right, then I got to reply, Mr. Obaseki. And in just about 30 seconds, if this election does not go in your favor, what would you do?
I didn't hear that.
If this election does not go in your favor, in the favor of your party and your candidate, what would you do?
The people must be the recurring decimal in this election. So I'm not concerned whether it goes in favor of my party or any other party. It must go in favor of the wishes of the people. And if the wishes of the people is at the very epicenter of this election, I'm not Nostradamus, but we know what the handwriting is on the wall. Mene, mene, teke, aswe godalo.